This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Starting now, we're breaking out, but I'm not leaving without you. This could be our one chance. We'll send a postcard when we're through. We'll get there together. We'll get there together. I'll meet you at the starting line. Don't you ever leave my side. We'll get there together. We'll get there together. If it takes all day or night, hand in hand we'll both arrive. Oh, oh, oh,
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. You know it. Welcome to hour one of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show, also known as the Rated R Safety Show, depending on how you take a look at it or where you get to hang out and taking a listen. Anyways, how are you? How was your weekend? Did you do anything super exciting that you want to call in and brag about? Because that's always an option to do. Or send me a little message of what the hell is going on. Anyways, today is Monday, December the 5th of 2022, day 339th of the year, and only 26 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, that's where we broadcast from. That's where we hang out. That's where we hang and bang most of the time, and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do around here is right here in our studios in Orlando. So outside of that, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios, and we are coming across the multiverse of Safety FM. And then we get to hang out with our friends and colleagues at that other fantastic place that we do a lot of stuff at.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, we get to do some infiltration over there at Radio Big. So outside of that, well, how was it? How was the last, few days as you're possibly getting to relax, hang out, do all the fun stuff that you get to do? It's important to talk about these things. So that's why we ask these questions. So there you go. I don't even know where to start today because I feel like there's been so much that has happened over this weekend. But I know that we start talking off normally about what the hell's trending, so maybe we should do that and talk a little bit from there and then move around and take a look-see of all the other fun stuff. So let's start off with that.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so giving it from the other side, let's take a take a look real quick. Saturday was Make a Gift Day. Oh, yeah, so that's what was trending. Not even familiar with it, so there you go. Make a gift day. USA versus NED was trending a Saturday morning as the two soccer teams faced off in the World Cup. We can talk a little bit more about that if you care to talk about the cups of the world. That's no problem. Twitter reacted to Keke Palmer's big announcement that she made on SNL on Saturday night. Also, Kenan was trending after Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell reunited as their characters from the old Nickelodeon show, Kenan and Kel, on SNL. Twitter users digitally applauded the skit, with several noting that it brought them back to their childhood. You see, I tell you this all the time on here, that nostalgia pays. Nostalgia pays things. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of shit that people will go through to relive a moment of nostalgia, just to get it moving and grooving. So do you live through a lot of stuff to do the nostalgia stuff? I mean, I don't know. I guess I will go out there from time to time and try to recoup the nostalgia world if I need to, but I don't think it's something that I love to do, but I do it from time to time. Like, I will tell you, when I was much younger, and I'll just tell this very briefly, there was this water park that I used to love, and it was in Florida, and I left Florida for some period of time. Then I moved back to Florida, and one of the first things that I wanted to do was go to this revolutionary water park that I used to love to go to when I was a kid, and that water park sucked. I mean, that water park was terrible. But then again, that's just kind of the way that things go. Also on Sunday was trending with Santa's List Day. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Anyways, before I forget, I did talk about it last week, and it's there up and running right now. If you want to take a look-see at it right now on Safety FM Plus, that's Plus, spelling it out, we have our newest ebook, How to Deal with Stress and Anxiety. If you are on the video world of what we do, you can actually just scan the barcode, scan the little QR code, and that will get you directly there if you're so inclined to taking a VUC on from that particular aspect. So, how to deal with anxiety, with stress and anxiety. You know, it's the month of December where people are super stressed out for some reason, in particular this month. I wonder if it has something to do with that holiday thing. Seems to be like one of those things that plays a factor into it. Anyway, so let me tell you this real quick, just so you know, if you're kind of new to what we do here, we talk about safety in the news during hour one, and then we talk to some professional broadcasters, let them do what the hell they get to do, and then we kind of come back, talk about some other stuff, and go from there. If you hang out for hour 2 and 3, which we normally do not do in a video aspect, and we do exclusively on Radio Big, come and hang out as we do the music stuff, and we kind of keep it as realistic to what's going on with the charts. If you want to do that in our freeform radio station on radiobig.fm, also that you can actually take a listen to on iHeartRadio, also available on TuneIn. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on over there as we are hanging and banging. So with that being said, I think it might be time to bring in the pro broadcasters that get to talk about all the cool stuff, and we get to be the cool kids and take a listen to what's going on. We'll kind of give you all the packaging and all the fun stuff that we get to do, and we'll do the news, and then we'll come back and news some more and do some more news, and then talk about some safety stuff and talk about some other things, and then move into this glorious world of ours that looks like a Monday.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. President Biden is celebrating 5 celebrities for their contributions to American culture through the arts. Trey Thomas fills us in.
During the Kennedy Center Honor Sunday, President Biden lauded the honorees with praise.
Tonight we celebrate a truly exceptional, and this is not an exaggeration, a truly exceptional group of artists who embody the very spirit of we the people.
Actor George Clooney, singers Amy Grant and Gladys Knight, composer Tanya Leong, and rock group U2 were at the White House, where Biden addressed each of them personally. I'm Trey Thomas.
Georgia's closely watched Senate race is about to be decided. Recent polling shows Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock has a narrow lead over Republican challenger Herschel Walker ahead of Tuesday's runoff. Early voting wrapped up in Georgia over the weekend with more than 350,000 people casting their ballots on Friday alone. That shattered the state's one-day record. The founder and former CEO of FTX says he is responsible for the failure of his cryptocurrency exchange.
I screwed up. I was CEO. I had a responsibility to be on top of what was going on the exchange.
Appearing on ABC's This Week, Samuel Bankman-Fried also admitted he was spread thin sometimes and thought there were processes in place that were managing the borrowing and lending on the platform. California lawmakers will meet today for a special session as Governor Gavin Newsom is calling on lawmakers to pass a price gouging penalty on oil companies and pushing forward new efforts to increase transparency and accountability on oil companies. As of Saturday, gas prices were at the lowest level since late February, sitting at $4.89 a gallon. The record high in L.A. County was set on October the 5th at $6.49 a gallon. And Aerosmith's Steven Tyler battling more health problems. On Friday, the band announced Tyler had fallen ill and canceled their Las Vegas show just 2 hours before they were set to perform. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Julia Chapman. China is relaxing its strict COVID-19 policies and taking steps to reopen the economy. The largest ever trial of its kind gets underway in Belgium today over the 2016 terrorist attacks in Brussels. And England player Raheem Sterling has left the World Cup in Qatar after armed intruders broke into his family home.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Minority Leader-elect Hakeem Jeffries is downplaying the idea that Democrats would elect a moderate GOP lawmaker as Speaker.
We have to organize on our side and be prepared to hit the ground running on January 3rd. They have to organize on their side, and we'll see what happens.
Appearing on ABC's This Week, the New York Democrat stated he wouldn't say it's a possibility and explained his party was busily readying themselves to transition temporarily from the majority into the minority. Jeffries' statements came as uncertainty grows over whether Republican Congressman Kevin McCarthy will earn enough votes to become the next House Speaker. The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments today on whether businesses may turn down services to same-sex weddings. Lori Smith, a Colorado designer, wants to decline to create wedding websites for same-sex couples because those marriages are in conflict with her religious beliefs. However, state officials say the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act goes for all businesses, making it illegal to refuse public services based on disability, race, creed, color, sex, sexual orientation, marital status, national origin, or ancestry. The state says its law is about equal access and it doesn't suppress any messages Smith's business might express. A ruling is expected by June of 2023. The holiday season means lots of festivities, but it's also prime time for porch pirates. Scott Carr has more.
Security experts estimate more than 200 million packages have already been stolen off of porches this year. To keep thieves at bay, they recommend arranging to have your packages delivered to areas that are hidden from the street, or ask a neighbor to be on the lookout for a particular delivery. Other deterrents are visible security cameras around your home, signing up for delivery updates so you'll know when packages arrive, or have packages delivered to a secure locker. I'm Scott Carr.
And former big league first baseman Fred McGriff has been elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. The five-time All-Star will be inducted into Cooperstown in July of next year. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking the truth. Okay, there you go. 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this fantastic, or should I say marvelous Monday, because it makes a lot more sense. Anyway, so let's go from there. Sam Bankman tells the Wall Street Journal that, Sam Bankman-Fried tells the Wall Street Journal that he has no explanation for the billions of dollars in customer funds that are missing, that he cannot rule out that there was nothing improper, but claims a total ignorance of anything nefarious that may have happened. I mean, I don't understand at this point. You didn't know what the hell you were doing. There is no doubt about it. And you took a whole bunch of people's money is what it sounds like. Are we being realistic, or are we kind of just sitting here going, well, maybe kind of, sort of, he did know? Anyway, it's worth noting, could he be lying? Yes. He could be totally incompetent, or could he be both? I mean, who the freak knows what the hell's going on? Imagine that. You invested a whole bunch of money into something that you're not familiar with, and all of a sudden it goes gonzo. Yeah, I think you might be pissed off at the world for a moment or two, just based on that. Anyways, let's talk about some other things. After a few weeks of media about talking about the demise of Elon Musk because he gutted his staff, many signals point that they're a thriving reformed company. Musk tweeted over the weekend that Apple would be back to advertising its full budget after briefly scaling back. Reuters reports that Amazon will also restart its annual $100 million ad spend. So hold on, I want to make sure I understand that. Are you telling me that Amazon spends $100 million alone just on Twitter? Because that's interesting. Because then you want to know what the hell they're doing on other platforms in regards to that. I mean, don't get me wrong. We already know that Amazon's a multi-billion-dollar company. But geez, man, $100 million. Take a listen to this. Amid growth of freedom protests in Iran, the government has suggested that it might ease the national law that requires women to wear jihadis. Did I say jihad? I didn't mean hijab. That's not what I meant. The head wraps in public. The country has been a growing pushback into tourism policies in recent weeks after a woman was killed in police custody in September after being reprimanded for not wearing one correctly. Think about that. Meanwhile, in our related freedom protests in China have spurred on the Communist Party, there is a lightning pandemic restrictions. New rules called for targeted lockdowns, not the broad ones, sweeping the rules that had governed most of the country for nearly 3 years. Businesses and operations in major cities will resume operations too, and in some cases not require proof of negative tests to use public transportation or go shopping. Think about that real quick. To use public transportation, you must have a negative test. To go shopping, you must have a negative test. I mean, what's going on with some of that? I get not to be out in general public if you can avoid it all at all costs and all this. But what if you're single? What happens if you need essential goods and you're not wealthy enough, you're not rich enough, you don't have enough money to have somebody deliver the shit for you? It's all that stuff. I mean, and I talk about this from a weird aspect because this is something that sometimes we don't think about. If you are single, and I mean like single, and let's say very limited friends or acquaintances, are you going to ask somebody to go pick up your groceries for you? I mean, let's just be realistic on some of the stuff that we talk about here, opposed to just making some shit up.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there. Like I give a flying, you know.
Okay, a North Carolina woman gave birth and won the lottery all on the same day about a month ago. Hey, now, that's some good times. 28-year-old Brenda Hernandez won a partial $100,000 prize on November the 9th, the Powerball drawing, using a combination of number of her other son's birthday on the ticket. Just hours before the drawing, her daughter was born. I feel like she brought me luck, she said in a press release after the winning. Hernandez finally got to pick up the lump sum check last Wednesday for $65,015 after taxes. Now, I want a better understanding of this because she had to pay taxes. Now, she's going to have to pay taxes again because it's just a weird aspect on how the whole lottery system works. I want somebody to explain this to me correctly to have a better understanding of it. As you can tell, I have never won the lottery in any kind of big sum, and I'm okay with that because I don't play the game. Anyways, Russia Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment announced Sunday that roughly 2,500 seals' carcasses had washed up on the coast of the Caspian Sea. The initial investigation suggested the seals all died of natural causes and not from poaching or fishing. How the hell do you have 2,500 seals die at all one time? Worth knowing that doesn't explain how they all died at once and washed up at the same place. I mean, I agree with that last portion. Because if all of a sudden you had 2,500 humans that died in all of the same cause and they all showed up in one place, you might have some questions. So why not the questions about the seals? Just something to think about as we are talking. Anyways, currently 23 minutes past. Let's do this real quick. Let's bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell us about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, December 5th, 2022. Equities closed the week higher, but on shaky footings following a pivot from the FOMC Fed Chief Jerome Powell, indicating a committee could slow the pace of interest rate hikes as soon as the next meeting, which is what the market wanted to hear. The bad news is inflation, labor, and wage data does not support the idea that inflation is under control or that the Fed can ease off on their policies. While the committee may slow to a 50 basis point pace, it should be expecting to continue hiking at that pace until inflation is indeed at 2%. This week could be dicey for traders due to a lack of data on both economics and earnings. There are a few notable reports due out, but they are interesting on an individual basis only and unlikely to alter the big picture in any way. The takeaway is that conditions are still changing and not for the better. While labor markets remain strong and underpinned by rising wages, the impact on consumer spending is getting worse at the same time. The risk is that at some point the scale will tip and consumer spending will contract in a meaningful way and bring the economy down with it. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information right there about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market. Here's what I was able to discover. The Dow added about 34 points to close at 34,429 on Friday. The S&P lost about 4 points to close at 4,071, while the NASDAQ lost about 20 points to close at 11,461. West Texas Intermediate slipped below $80 again on Friday, trading just at $79.98, and Brent crude fell to $85. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.41 on Sunday. I have to tell you, last night I saw it at $2.98. Not too far away from where I live. What else? Bitcoin is back at $17,000 on Sunday evening, adding nearly $200 of value for the day. And there was 3,190 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and such of only 88 cancellations. I mean, that's way better than what we were talking about last week. Because last week it seemed like we were talking about all kinds of flights being canceled, not delayed, because I feel like we're always talking about stuff being delayed is the way that it looks. Anyways, let's talk about this because it is time to talk about the box office. So let's do this. Over the weekend, here's how it went from number 10 to number 1. It went something like this. At number 10 was Ticket to Paradise with $849,000. I kind of wonder, it's like that movie's available for streaming already. Bones and All, $1.2 million. At number 8 was The Flabians at $1.3 million. At number 7, Black Adam, another movie available for streaming, $1.6 million. At number 6, I Heard the Bells at $1.8 million. At number 5, Devotion, $2.8 million. At number 4, The Menu at $3.5 million. At number 3, Strange World. I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's that Disney movie that's not doing too well. $4.9 million at number 3. At number 2 was Violent Night. Not Silent Night, but Violent Night. $13.3 million. And at the number 1 spot, I think for the 4th week in a row. Yes, fourth week. It is Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So there you go. Stayed at number 1, $17.6 million. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there if you are taking a listen of what is going on for sure. Anyways, let's do this because we haven't done one of these in a long time. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's give you a tech roundup right now. Take a listen.
Former CEO of FTX says he's responsible for the failure of his cryptocurrency exchange.
I screwed up. I was CEO. I had a responsibility to be on top of what was going on the exchange.
Appearing on ABC's This Week, Samuel Bankman-Fried also admitted he was spread thin sometimes and thought there were processes in place that were managing the borrowing and lending on the platform. His statements came as FTX is working through a bankruptcy process and regulators are looking into the company's lack of oversight that saw the loss of more than $30 billion in a matter of weeks. Archer Aviation announcing that its all-electric aircraft Maker successfully completed its first transition to full wing-borne flight. It has 12 propellers. It flew at a calibrated airspeed of 91 knots or 105 miles per hour. And TikTok has lost a star, a pug named Noodle, who rose to fame with his Bones or No Bones Days videos, has passed away at the age of 14 and a half. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
I will tell you that in my lifetime, you would have told me there would be a tech report that had an animal inside of it talking about what the hell happened to the animal. I would have told you it would probably never happen, but today has proven me wrong. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Okay, so let's continue taking a look at some other stuff that is going on inside of this lovely world of ours. Take a listen to this. $4 million will be spent to create a domestic violence court in Kent County in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The money is from the American Rescue Plan Act, and prosecutor Chris Becker says that creating the court has been a goal of his.
More robust response and really make people understand that we don't tolerate domestic violence in Kent County.
Okay, the federal money will support the court for 3 years. Becker says that the goal is to cut down domestic violence and homicides. Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker calls the domestic violence court coming to the area a game changer.
Huge thing that we got, and it's going to make a difference for everybody.
So there you go, some interesting stuff coming out of there. Keeping it inside of Michigan, take a listen to this. A 35-year-old Dearborn man is facing ethnic intimidation charges for an anti-Semitic incident in the Temple of Beth El Synagogue in Bloomfield Hills on Friday.
Imagine what that must have been like for parents and small children of preschool age when they're just dropping their kids off to be approached by somebody with just a message of hate.
The Oakland County prosecutor, Karen McDonald, who is charging Hassan Krook after he allegedly made anti-Semitic and racist threats outside of the temple to parents, young children, and security, he has not yet been arraigned. Bloomfield Township Police Chief James Gallagher says the suspect was talking to anyone on Friday.
I'll tell you, I've been in this job for 23 years, and some of the most vulgar, inappropriate language and comments that I've ever heard.
That probably is telling you something there for sure. Anyways, take a listen to this. A father and a 7-year-old son are recovering after being hit by a BB gun pellet on Sunday afternoon. Take a listen to this.
Outside Island Kosher Supermarket on Victory Boulevard. A man driving by in a Ford Mustang with no license plate fired the BB gun at them, then took off. The child was grazed in the ear, his dad hit in the chest, and both of them were wearing yarmulkes. Police are investigating the shooting as a possible hate crime. Lisa Salvati, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you very much for that information right there. Let us know what is going on inside of that particular portion of the world, because that is always important as we are talking. Take a listen to this one real quick. The House Democrat whip-elect says that the party's previous leadership left a model for the next generation.
Continue to push to meet this moment of challenge for the American people with progress.
Appearing on NBC's Meet the Press, Congresswoman Catherine Clark says the legacy of the representatives Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer was one of that putting American people first. The Massachusetts Democrat also stood by diversity of the new leadership, despite arguments that she and the new leader-elect represent areas of the country that are too low class. That's kind of an interesting word to put it that way. House Democrat Catherine Clark stood by the diversity of the new leadership despite the arguments of what was going on. Take a listen to this.
Things that the incredible leadership team has shown us is how to lead by putting the American people first.
So there you go. Put the American people first is what they're saying. It's going to be an interesting one as we're getting into it. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. It is time to do that thing that we do around now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, what exactly is the main story, and what are main stories, and why do we do main stories? Maybe that's some of the stuff that we should talk about. The reason behind it is that we do the main story to put an area of focus on something that's going on the show, opposed to it just being everything else that we kind of pile on. Do we really need to do to the extent of, here is the main story? Probably not. But do I like doing it? I guess to an extent I do, because we do this on a daily basis in regards of when we're talking. So what are we going to talk today about on this Monday? And this is that time of the year where things get kind of interesting, and we need to have some weird conversations, some good conversations, some conversations that tie into what we do every day, and some conversations that have absolutely nothing to do of what is going on. So let me ask the important stuff, because I know that sometimes during this time of the year, things can get weird inside of the workplace, or some of the parties that are inside of the workplace can cause everything to get weird. Last week, we talked a little bit about the alcohol action and who's responsible for some of the partying stuff. But how do we actually handle personal relationships or people that we fraternize with outside of work, inside of work? And is there a is there a dividing line that actually you can actually put into some of these things? And I ask the question because it can get weird at times if you have somebody who you fraternize with outside of work, which you can take that to mean a lot of things. And how do you handle how they react and act at work? Because let's be realistic. It is not uncommon for you to actually start building relationships with people that you work with. And I love that when you use that term relationships, people can take it very far right or very far left on the definition on what that means. because you spend the majority of your time, at least most people do, inside of actually your work. And I don't mean that it's inside. I'm just talking about that that's where you spend most of your time. So it is not uncommon to develop relationships with people that you work with. But if you are the person who is in charge of your team, how do those things work out when things go awry? And I'm just kind of wanting to know, because I think that sometimes there is that difficulty where people cannot distinguish between the two, the work side and the friendship side. And some people, and let's be realistic, we understand that the networking aspect of what we do inside of work normally helps us move forward into other things. I'm not saying that's not the case, but also at the same time, too, how does it actually serve for the prospect of other things that are going on? Listen, I will tell you, I have had jobs in my past that have been assisted by people that I knew from previous workplaces and moved forward because of that. Also, at the same time as well, I'm sure that, we have helped other people in that particular regards. I've also had jobs that I didn't know anybody at, and just based on resume, or like I like to call it, marketing material, I was able to get in. But I look at this and I go, how do we tie everything together? How do we hold people accountable across the board? And can you do the separation between the two things of friendship and how things go at work? I just wonder about that. I remember long time ago, had this guy that I used to hang around quite often, had him over, we used to do stuff, and unfortunately, it got to a point that the work environment for what he was doing for work, and I was the team lead at the time, because I don't like using the word manager for that particular position, but it wasn't working, and we had to cut our ties together. And unfortunately, I was the person that had to let him go. I was able to go out to dinner with him that same night, but it was just one of those things that I was able to distinguish the two things. And I'm not saying that it's something impossible to do, but it's something very difficult to do. It's, you want to be a friend, but also at the same time, can you do the separation of both? So as you look at this today and have that conversation, do you have relationships inside of your work that you would jeopardize your work quality for the friendship, or would you jeopardize the friendship for the work quality? Just one of those weird things to talk about, because I've heard people say this: don't make work a priority, because if something was to happen to you, they would have you replaced within less than a month. Which, on the other side, if they're going to fire you, or if you're supposed to actually quit, you're supposed to give some kind of notice. But if you're going to get fired, they don't give you a notice that they're going to fire you. At least most places don't. Even though I had a friend recently tell me that there was somebody that worked at her place, and they were there, I believe she said 9 years, and the boss told the person that they were going to let them go in probably within a month or so, which I thought was one of the most interesting things ever. Kind of weird, but interesting all at the same time as well. So as you think about this today, do you fraternize with people at your workplace? And does that relationship put you at some level of risk? A lot of things to think about as you intertwine those things into one. That is for sure, as we are talking on this lovely Monday on the Rated R Safety Show. We'll be right back.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Sunrise, starry nights and endless seas. We're writing our own story. Let's go and make this what it's meant to be. Let's scream it out. Let's go and make this what it's meant to be. We'll get there.
Okay, you are still here hanging out with me. This is the Rated R Safety Show, hour one of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. We are still hanging out on this marvelous Monday. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. This little song right here, you can find it on Spotify and iTunes. We'll get there together. This is by Kid Penny.
Standing next to me. Do you feel your heart?
You know, it's that van life kind of song.
Your feet.
So there you go. Thanks to Kid Penny for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So we still got a lot of stuff going on this morning as we are hanging out. And I say morning because it is morning time still where I'm at. Hopefully it's not too latey already where you're located in the day, because then if I say morning, it sounds kind of like a weird thing where it's like, well, did he just say that it's morning when it's really afternoon? I guess those things happen depending on how you want to take a look at it. That is for sure. Anyway, so let's talk about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world, because I think it's important. Apparently, there is they really took the line, now bring us a figgy pudding. Seriously, the makers of Spam have introduced figgy pudding, a festive twist on the original canned gelatinous pork product, just in time for the holidays. This is not a joke. And the limited time purchase is so popular it is already sold out on Amazon, Walmart, and the company's website. Figgy pudding Spam adds notes of cinnamon and nutmeg combined with the fig and orange flavors. The original recipe, Hormel, the makers of Spam, has posted some of the recipes for the online for the holiday skewers, and the charade boards, or however you want to take a look at it, and even pancakes containing figgy pudding. Figgy pudding, a traditional British dish, is a steamed cake with raisins, currants, and brandy. The modern version does not include figs. Hormel has also created an animated video called We Wish You a Figgy Christmas, which includes the lyrics in a spamtastic new year. So there you go. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? That they need to make a spam filter that helps avoid this, because I just don't understand on why you would want any kind of dessert with spam in it, because it just sounds weird. I'm sorry, but I can't see the day that I'd even eat something that with the word figgy. Figgy. I don't even know what's going on. It's figalicious.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. If you've ever feel nostalgic for the sound of an old phone modem connecting to the internet, or the beeps and boops of a fax machine for that matter, then you should go here. A website has put together what it claims to be the biggest collection of obsolete and disappearing sounds. Cities in Memory, an online collaborative, feature a collection of over 150 sounds incredibly rare, including like the sounds of the retro video games, recording of old-fashioned transports, and lots of mechanical sounds that are outdated hardware, or how you would, the classic ringtones of the Nokia 5120 phone. Yeah, think about that. The sound of the old analog radio being tuned. And the founders say that the project is designed to draw attention to the world's disappearing soundscapes, a highlight of the sounds that are worth preserving because they form a part of the collective and cultural heritage and help us go back to what we have, the sounds that we have of late, because things have disappeared. They are asking for more. If you want to take a listen to it, all you have to do is go to citiesandmemories.com. That's citiesandmemory.com /obsolete-sounds. So there you go. So what's disappearing sound would you like to contribute to the project is maybe something to think about before you get over there. And what sound do you just not hear anymore aside of the sound of the civil disclosure? Just something to think about as we are talking. A lot of stuff going on over there, that is for sure, as we are talking about this. Anyways, let me tell you real quick about some of the things that I get to share with you that I deem the most important conversation that we can have at any time. And that's about my friends at 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Listen, I understand that during this time of the year, it gets pretty intense for some. It is not easy in regards of everything that goes on during the holiday season, and we see a lot of people dealing with a lot of mental stress, depression, and suicidal thoughts during this time. If you aren't looking for a level of help, if you're looking out for more information or how to find a provider, a professional provider in your area, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. Or you can call 988 from your celly, Or you can also just text the word TALK to 988. That will get everything rolling. Listen, it is super important to talk about this. And there are always all kinds of stuff going on inside of the network. You can just go to the website if you want. Take a look around at the different things that they offer resources for that people are struggling. It's Black mental health, Native Americans and Alaskan Native mental health, attempt survivors, maternal mental health, veterans, death hard of hearing, youth loss survivors, ayuda en español, individuals that are suffering. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff that's right there on the website, 988lifeline.org. Take a look around over there. Believe me, you never know when this might be needed. So there you go. Let's talk a little bit more about some other stuff that's going on inside of here. Or should we do this? Let's do this. Let's go ahead and bring some John Small inside of here real quick and let him tell you about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Jason. This was shared on Facebook this week. I love it. Billy Graham was an evangelist minister who traveled the world sharing his message. I have no idea what kind of husband or dad Billy was, but when a reporter asked his wife Ruth the question, "Doesn't it drive you crazy that Billy is on the road 7 months of the year?" His wife Ruth replied, "I'd rather spend 5 months a year with Billy than 12 months with anyone else." It's easy to walk around focusing and dwelling on the 10% of our life that's not perfect. But what if we all spend our time and energy celebrating the 90% of our lives that are amazing? Make a difference this week. Spend time on the right things. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Leptin's main function is to help regulate the long-term balance between your body's food intake and energy use or expenditure. It helps prevent hunger and regulates energy balance so that your body doesn't trigger a hunger response when it doesn't need more calories. What is leptin resistance? In the same way that people develop insulin resistance, where it takes more insulin to do physiological jobs in the body, people with higher body mass require more leptin to signal the hypothalamus to be satisfied. Another way to explain this is that they require more leptin to invert a starvation response that the brain has where the alarm bells start going off because it thinks it doesn't have enough body fat. The concept of leptin resistance is still being researched, specifically what exactly happens with neurons and circuitry. For more, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 52 minutes past the top of the hour. We are still hanging out on this Monday. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm exclusively. So no video, no anything else, just right there. Or if you can come over there with me if you want, you can take a listen to us on TuneIn Radio or on the iHeartRadio app under Radio Big, because that's where we're streaming at, not to be confused with the podcast. Or you can stay right here and take a listen to Sheldon Primus coming up here on Safety FM, however you want to do that. Also, before I forget, if you have not signed up, you're more than welcome on doing so about our event that is coming up in the month of March. This is a Safety Differently workshop that will be hosted by Dr. Todd Conklin and the gang. You'll also be able to see Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston, and Martha Acosta, and yours truly all there. And that will be taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So if you want to come out, hang out, and do all the fun stuff over there, you can find out more information at safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io. You get to pick the version of what you want to do. Several different tracks on how to do it. So there you go. Safetyfm.io if you want to come out, hang out, and do all the fun stuff. Anyway, so there you go. Let's continue talking real quick. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday's drawing will be for $354 million jackpot or $139.6 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for an $89 million jackpot or $47.1 million cash payout. No word yet on a price for the piece. So there you go. There you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there as we are talking. Let's take a look around real quick and see what happened back on this date. If I'm taking a look, let's do this. Back in 2018, National Day of Mourning for former U.S. President George H.W. Bush. And as he lies in the state capital of Rotunda in Washington, Bush passed away on November the 30th from Parkinson's disease at his home in Houston, Texas. He was 94 at the time of his passing. That happened back in 2018. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Taking a look around real quick. Anthony Marshall turns 27. Christian Yelch turns 31. Frankie Muniz turns 37. Laura London turns 38. Let's see. Michelle Tustin turns 52. Catherine Tate turns 53. Lisa Marie, 54. Margaret Cho turns 54. Eddie the Eagle Edwards turns 59. So there you go. There's some birthdays that are going on today. If we are looking at some reasons to celebrate today, well, it's World Soil Day, Bathroom Party Day, or excuse me, Bathtub Party Day, not Bathroom Party Day, which that would have really been an interesting one, but still, what the hell do you do in a bathtub when you're partying, but whatever. International Ninja Day and National Rappel Day. Oh, and last but not least, of course, being in Orlando, Walt Disney Day. Yeah, that would be today as well. So there you go, taking a look around on some of the things that are going on around here, because I think that that's going to be slightly important as we are talking. If you need some whack facts for this Monday, here you go. The top speed of a falling raindrop is 18 miles per hour. When we touch something, the message moves to the brain at 124 miles per hour. Most soccer players run about 7 miles in a game. In a 3-hour Major League Baseball game, there is an average of about 10 minutes of actual playing time, including all pitches being thrown and the balls at play. This is why I hate baseball. The temperature of milk when it leaves the body of a cow is 101 Fahrenheit. There you go. The average woman consumes 3 pounds of lipstick in a lifetime. What do you mean consumes? I mean, that sounds like something else, and I hope that they're not eating it. You know what I'm saying there. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this. I'm really against protesting, but I don't know how to show it. You get it? You get it? Okay. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Which member of your family do you spend the most on for Christmas? A survey found that husbands spend the most money on their wives, but wives spend the most money on their sons. Yes, that's exactly the answer. They spend most of their moolah on their sons. Bet you didn't know that one. Anyways, if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. If you gave this as a Christmas gift last year, there's a 20% chance it hasn't been used yet. Do you know what it is? Think about it. It's a gift card. And here's my issues with gift cards. And I know some people are not going to appreciate this, but I have to mention this. If you give somebody a gift card, which is fine, not a problem, you gave them money that was good for anywhere on the planet, but now you have restricted it to one particular thing. Think about it for a moment. Hey, I'm going to give you money, but it's only good at this one place opposed to anywhere else. And I know it's the thought that counts and all the fun stuff that you can say there, but it's kind of a weird thing, especially if the company doesn't make it. Just something to think about. Okay, so there you go. That's going to sum up our time together. Like I said earlier, if you want to come over to radiobig.fm, you're more than welcome to do so. You can listen to us on all of our different apps that we have available. You can even listen to us on directly inside of Apple Music. Just say, hey, play Radio Big, and it'll get you started. Just make sure that you're choosing the radio station. If not, you're probably going to end up with some Biggie Small song. It's kind of the way that it works. I'm just telling you. So there you go. That sums it up. Thank you for hanging out. I definitely could not do what I do around here without you. The most important part, the listener. Seriously, I really couldn't do it. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. A smile is a powerful weapon. You can break even ice with it. Think about it. All the ice that can be broken just with a simple, solitary smile. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.